Um, Hello and welcome back to the Paper Soprano podcast. This is episode number 21. Oh my god, I forgot to mention last episode that it was episode 20, so that was like a landmark in a way. And now here I am saying 21, so there you go. Just a little background knowledge for anyone who may be listening for the first time. Spoiler alert, I don't know, go listen to the first 20 episodes, like. So here we are. We all are here, and we are on the 21st episode of the Paper Soprano podcast. And I just want you guys to know that I am hashtag dedicated, okay, to creating a podcast every day. For me, I feel like this has no real weight in terms of production value. It's pretty low budget, okay? So we're not really worried about production value. We're not really worried about anything in particular. We're just here to have a good old-fashioned chat, okay, as you know. And the idea of this podcast is to, yes, of course, discuss music, as that is a very large and significant part of my life, but also just to have a chat about whatever the heck I want to have a chat about, okay? Okay? So that's pretty much the deal if you're new here. And if you are new here, hashtag welcome, okay? Gross. Yeah, so welcome to the podcast if you're new. If you're not new, thanks so much for being here. What the heck? I can't believe you've been so dedicated in your listening. Wow. I'm literally just here spouting nonsense by myself in a room by myself. I know I promised, I think I promised, I hope I didn't really, but I think I mentioned in the last podcast that we would have a guest coming on soon in which we would test snacks, and honestly, still probably gonna happen, but we might have to wait a couple of days because tomorrow is Christmas Eve, you guys, and today is, of course, Festivus, if you are familiar with Festivus. Today is that day, and tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and the day after is Christmas Day, so there might be a weird posting schedule, if you will. I might post in the morning, might post in the afternoon. I know I normally post at night, but yeah, the only reason why I really post at night is because, I like to have things to talk about. I go through the whole day, and then I have things to say about that day, and then I chat about it on the pod, so anyway, I am here in my childhood bedroom, a little bit awkward, a little bit questionable, and technically it's not my childhood bedroom. We moved here when I was in middle school, so this is my mid-childhood bedroom. I don't know, but this is my parents' house, and I am here. So if the past couple podcasts have sounded a little differently, I apologize. I am experimenting in the spaces in which I am given. So basically, just doing what I can. And yeah, tonight is an interesting night because I want to talk to you about an experience that I just had with my parents, in which I was essentially okay, I'm gonna frame this in a way that I hope all of the collegiate age, or maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, will understand. Basically, you have that one friend who always shows you very pivotal videos, or music videos, or they come to you and they're like, hey, have you seen this video of so-and-so doing X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then that friend will be the friend who shows you those things. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of how I felt the past I guess I would say like an hour or so. But basically, so you can stream YouTube videos to your TV if you have like a Fire Stick or an Apple TV or something like that. I don't know exactly what my parents have, but they have the capability to stream from my phone to the TV. So I was just kind of like, "Oh, I don't remember exactly which video it started with, but it might have been the David Phelps Oh Holy Night. If you have not seen that, oh my god, look up David Phelps, Phelps, Oh Holy Night, and do yourself a friggin' favor and look up that video. But I think I started with that or something like that, and we just kind of, it was me and my two parents, my mother and my father, and we just kind of started listening to music, and it was all like curated by me, which is very much a privilege as a person in the arts, you know what I mean? So it's like I have a big responsibility to make sure that I am first of all reading the room. And when you're showing people videos, you want to make sure that they're going to like it and that they're going to be potentially like inspired by it, you know? Like that's the main idea, is that you show someone something that is revolutionary or inspiring or whatever. So I showed them that Oh Holy Night, and that was pretty good. And then we got into honestly, some pretty good videos. My dad was suggesting some Dolly Parton, and I have a lot of respect for Dolly Parton as an individual who, I'm not a big fan of country music, but I respect Dolly Parton, you know? Like she's got some things to say musically, and I respect that a lot. So we listened to some good old Dolly Parton, and then we listened to some, the logical trends. The logical transition here is to Miley Cyrus, because Dolly Parton is Miley Cyrus's godmother, as some of you might not know. And yeah, so we transitioned to some Miley. We we listened to the duet of Miley Cyrus and her younger sister Noah Cyrus singing I Got So High That I Saw Jesus. That is, I got so high that I saw Jesus. Yes, you heard that correctly. And honestly, hilarious, but also extremely beautiful. Like gorgeous singing. And then we moved on to that for some reason I was reminded within those videos of Sarah Bareilles playing live Elton John's Yellow Brick Road, which is, good lord, if you haven't heard that, she's in like a polka dot, black and white polka dot top or something like that, and it's just incredible. I think there's two versions floating around, two live versions of Sarah Bareilles singing Yellow Brick Road, and they're both incredible. Unbelievable musicianship from Sarah Bareilles. I really can't say enough good things about her. There's obviously a musical that Sarah Bareilles has just written, which is Waitress, which is, not necessarily super current, but I, for the first time, have listened to the entire soundtrack on the drive up here. So I listened to the Waitress soundtrack on the way up from Long Island to Buffalo, and let me tell you, you guys, you will not be disappointed. Oh my god, Sarah Bareilles is a genius, and she is an unbelievable composer. Like, excellent musical theater repertoire being created by Sarah Bareilles. And super inspiring, like just unbelievably inspiring. And yeah, so she's excellent. And what else did we listen? Oh, well, my dad suggested, because he saw Sarah Bareilles and immediately was like, wait, wasn't she in Jesus Christ Superstar? Which he's correct. She was in a recent production of a live performance of Jesus Christ Superstar, and I think John Legend was the lead. So that was excellent, and he was like, oh, she sang a really good ending number of Jesus Christ Superstar. So we put that on and we're listening to her, and it's just a really good wholesome back and forth in terms of musical exploration, which is excellent. I love that. That's my MO. If we're gonna be friends, me and you, if we're gonna be friends, you're gonna have to let me show you some videos, and I'm gonna have to see some videos from you, Like, that's just kind of how it goes. You're gonna show me some things that I have not yet seen, and I'm gonna try and, inspire you with some of the stuff that I've seen, and that's just how it is. But the basis for this podcast, which I'm really excited to share with you all, is I, for the very first time, had the pleasure of of showing my parents videos of none other than the Jacob Collier. So I showed them a bunch of videos, probably like 5 or 6 different videos of his, because he does covers, he does originals, he does music videos, he does the whole kind of like multi-track picture moving video thing. He does it all. So there's a lot of different visual media, which I think was important in capturing my parents' attention with his content, because musically it's not what you expect, and that can be kind of intimidating for people who are not necessarily involved with like, deep tracks musical stuff, and not for nothing, but it can be kind of intimidating to hear these harmonies that, Jacob Collier is putting out there into the world. It's a lot sometimes, and it's heavy, and it's dense, and it's thick. It's like sometimes it's like tangled hair, and you have to brush it from the bottom and really, really be gentle with it, because it's like, oh gosh, these harmonies are really delicate, and like they're passing, and they're unimportant in a way, but like the melody, of course, is not the main idea. It's the main idea is being transformed. The idea is that it's something brand new on the wings of something that has been cherished over years and years and years. We listen to All Night Long, and we also listen to Moon River, which are obviously 2 well-known tunes. But it was hard for me to explain to them, and I tried not to speak through these recordings. Like, when they listened to them, I tried to just like, stifle any questions or any commentary, because it's not about that, it's not about the commentary or about the, you just have to immerse yourself. It's hard, but you just have to. And, so I tried not to engage in any real conversation about it until maybe the end of the piece. But, it's a lot to stomach. And my parents obviously had questions about like, oh, well, these songs, we know them, and oh, is he gonna get like, I've been talking about copyright strikes with them. So like, is he gonna get copyright strikes because he's using these melody, these tunes, these songs from other people? And I don't really know exactly. I didn't really know how to answer that, but copyright strike, the whole thing, you should look it up. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say copyright strike in terms of YouTube videos, do look it up. It's kind of intense. Like, there's a lot of backlash with copyright strikes. But as a musician, it's like, oh no, of course I would want somebody to be striked down if they were using my content and I copyrighted that content. Of course I would want them to be, reprimanded for that in some way. And of course I wouldn't want them to be monetized in a way that would let them profit off of my work as a musician. So it's kind of like auditory watermark on YouTube videos that's happening right now. So copyright striking is a big thing. But anyway, look that up if you're interested in hearing more about it. It's very, very much topical right now in terms of the creative world and specifically YouTube as a platform. But yeah, so they were asking me like, oh, isn't it going to get copyright striked? And I'm like, I don't know, honestly, because the whole idea with the copyright striking is like, oh my God, it's so intense, and it's like a big, computer algorithm that takes in pitches and rhythms and sonic information and then like determines whether or not it's already been copyrighted in like a big database of information. And like, yeah, I think that definitely the melody would be something that would be of concern for Jacob Collier's music. But like, oh my God, the harmony makes it this completely different piece of work than normally, thought of. These pieces that he's covering, I say covering with like big giant air quotes around covering, because it's so much more than a cover. He's multi-layering tracks, like hundreds and hundreds of tracks. Maybe not hundreds, but I'm pretty sure hundreds of tracks of himself and others, and mostly himself singing and playing. And it's like, yeah, dude, these are unbelievably far from the original that you're thinking of. And while yes, there is some copyright claims that should be attested to with the melody itself, because that of course inspired the harmony, and he was rethinking the harmony as the melody depicted it. But like, it's so much of a gray area. Oh my God, like literally the copyright striking is insane. Like, even just for me personally, and I'm nobody, you guys, like I'm literally 0% of like somebody on YouTube, and I've gotten copyright stricken. What's the past of strike? But like, I myself have gotten a copyright strike on multiple videos because I post videos sometimes that are musically based, and it's like this algorithm, this technology that they're using for copyright is so intense that it will pick up, I'm convinced, like even, an interval or a specific rhythm of something, like just one interval or one rhythm, like it will pick it up and it will strike you for copyright. And that's crazy to say, like that's a big claim, but dude, mark my words, it's happening around the YouTube community. And it doesn't mean anything to me because I obviously don't get paid for YouTube, but like those bigger creators that are benefiting off of YouTube and they make money off of YouTube, this is a big deal. When one of your videos gets copyright claimed, that's a big deal, and that takes a lot of monetization away from your video. So it is frustrating because you're supposed to be this creator who's free to do just that and create, but you're also limited by this big deterrent that is copyright infringement, when in reality you might not even be infringing on any copyright at all. And if any musicians out there, like any of the people who are listening to this, and you're a musician and you've been copyright striked, even on like your own original music, or like, something that you've recorded that's clearly in public domain, like Mozart or Bach or someone who is been dead for centuries, and you're still getting copyright claimed on their material, let me know. Hit me up in those comments. And let me know about your struggles, because like honestly, I've posted a recital recently, and I would say about half of the videos that I posted each individual set. About half of those videos have been copyright claimed, which is fine with me. I mean, I don't make any money off of them. It doesn't matter to me necessarily. But it's like, dang, okay, like, I know those videos aren't necessarily copyrighted, but okay, YouTube, like, whatever. I guess take whatever you want, Oh my god, I need a sip after that. But yeah, you guys. So it was really unique today to be able to show my parents some of those videos that I've loved from either Jacob Collier or just kind of like in general, people who they have those kinds of like awe-inspiring videos, like that David Phelps Oh Holy Night, or maybe it's Silent Night. I don't know. I think it's Silent Night. Jonah, if you're listening to this, don't come for me. I'm sure it's Silent Night. But yeah, dude, if you are ever like, going back and forth about whether or not to show somebody this video that really inspired you, or this like, one thing that's like, oh my god, I can't believe I saw this and it really inspired you in that moment, I encourage you to just like do it and be like, hey, I don't know if you're gonna like this, but like, this is a crazy video that I know and you should really see it. And if that person doesn't latch onto it, or doesn't like it, or it seems disinterested within the video, like, that's fine, but at least you know that you showed it to them, and it's known that that kind of thing is important to you. And that's kind of how I feel with my experience this evening. It has been very unique, and in a weird way, I feel like that's kind of how I communicate right now. I don't necessarily love small talk. I don't love, the typical talking at like shooting the crap, shooting the shit kind of thing, where you're just kind of talking about other people, and there's the occasional put down, and there's the occasional like, oh yeah, she's a little bit and there's like the eyebrow raises, and those kinds of things that come in with small talk. It's somewhat negative, I think, which is why I dislike small talk. And I don't know, maybe that's just my personal experiences with small talk, but I'm not necessarily a big fan of small talk. And I think more effectively to communicate with me as a person is to just engage in the material that I personally like and that I find inspiring or moving in some way, which is a lot of these videos that I showed this evening. But you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's words don't even come close to describing some of the musical experiences that you've had. And the only way that you're able to get close with people is to experience them together. Whether or not they like it or not, it's like, yeah, we were here together for that one moment, and it was like, that's something that I experienced a lot in undergrad as a young, very young, unexperienced musician, is just going back and forth and trading baseball cards, like trading videos and trading, YouTube videos and exciting material that I'm like, oh my god, have you guys heard this? Or somebody comes up to me and they're like, dude, you gotta listen to this. Like, this is crazy. Like, that's the kind of people that I want to be around. And that's the kind of people who I want to emulate, and who I want to in turn elevate me, and I want to elevate them. And it's just a cycle of elevation, and it's humbling in a lot of ways to watch a video that somebody else thinks is is amazing, because it takes a lot from you to get out of your own ego and just be like, hey, yeah, that was amazing. And it's not about you in that moment. It's not about, your performance or your rendition, because you didn't do anything. It's not about you. It's about that person and the fact that they showed you something. They took the time to show you something of somebody else, and they thought it was amazing. They were inspired by it. And it's just not about you in that moment. And that's okay. There's no reason to discount it heavily or make fun of it heavily. If you disagree with something, fine. But there's no reason to just be like, ugh, I don't love Miley Cyrus because of blah, blah, blah. That's your ego talking. And that's you getting in the way of that person trying to connect with you. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, just do show somebody that 15-minute video, or do sit with someone through that crazy atonal thing that changed your life. Sit with somebody through that and just hope to God that they can get out of their own way and be like, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that piece of information that you just brought into my life, because that is so connective. That's such a big, huge thing that people are discounting, in terms of their ego. Somebody shows them a video and they're like, whatever. It's just let it happen to you and experience it. And that's just such a huge thing. So if you've ever experienced something like this, I might be the only, I'm not the only one. No way. You've totally experienced something like this, either in your high school years or your undergraduate years, somebody shows you something and they're that person who has changed your life, or they've showed you that one video that you're like, oh my God, or they listen to Close to the Edge, with you for the first time, and that changed your life. So there's always going to be that person, and there's always going to be those experiences that shape you as a musician. And I hope for you and for the people who you show and people who you are friends with and you surround yourself with, that you can all just experience it as, as ego-free as you possibly can, and just listen to it for what it is, and don't try and dominate the conversation by, any means, whatever, afterwards. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm talking about right now? Am I speaking to a wall right now? Because I kind of feel like I am. I need a sip, you guys. But yeah, so it's been an interesting evening, and like I said before, I hate small talk. I'm not a big fan. Definitely not a big fan at all. I would consider myself an anti-fan. I hate small talk in a way that you may or may not understand, but oh my God. Sharing music with other people is my love language. I don't know who needs to hear this, but that's an acceptable language to speak, is just music and nothing else, I do the whole acts of service thing, but I not big on the communication or the physical touch or whatever. I don't, whatever. Those things are arbitrary to me. So I don't know, you guys. This has been a weird one, but like I said in the beginning, if you are new here, congrats and welcome. You have been baptized, and welcome to the Paper Soprano. It's a weird time, and I just basically talk about whatever the heck I want, okay? So, that being said, I think I'm going to cut it off here because I like to keep it around half an hour when it's just me, because I feel like some people probably aren't going to listen to me past half an hour, and by some people I mean myself, so I wouldn't want to put anything on you that I wouldn't endure myself. Totally just burped on the pod, living my life, whatever. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna cut it off now. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have any feelings or reactions, let me know in the comments, you guys. What the heck? Like, start talking to me. Like, God. We've got a couple guests lined up for the next couple of days, and I hope that you're here to hear them. So stay tuned. And also, if you like this podcast, do be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here and like this video. It does help me out a lot. Not that I make any money off of these videos. Oh my God, I wish. But it helps me to know that you guys are interested in listening and you want to hear more. But the truth is, I'm probably going to post anyway, so gotcha. Yeah, so thanks so much for listening, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys out there listening right now. And yeah, my name's Heidi, and I've been your host this whole time, if you haven't known. And thank you so much for listening, you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow, okay? So don't worry. Okay, bye.